Catch 'em all.
Hey guys, PokéDan here. Going into this video, I'm sure everyone knows what a shiny Pokemon is, but if for whatever reason you don't, it's basically an alternate coloring for a Pokemon. Every Poké Monster has a shiny form, even if not all are catchable, and fair to say with how rare they are to find, everyone loves running into a shiny. As well as this, we all have our favourites because let's face it, some of them look way cooler than their regular coloring. And that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. Today you guys join me in discussing my 3 best or favourite shiny Pokemon from each region. Of course, this is all just in my own opinion, and if your favourite shiny isn't in the video, that doesn't mean it's a bad one, it's just not my cup of tea. Or maybe it is, but I'm only talking about 3 per region, so perhaps this time it didn't quite make the cut. Either way, let me know who your favourite shinies are down in the comments section, but with all that being said, let's get started with the video. Being the first Pokemon region, let's start off with Kanto. This region offered a lot of cool shinies, but unfortunately only 3 could make the cut, so let's start off with my third favourite, which is Ninetales. Although in its regular form I prefer its counterpart Arcanine, its shiny form blows Arcanines away. Shiny Ninetales turns into a smoky colour and it just looks majestic as heck. As well as this, part of its tail turns blue, which makes for a superb shiny. At number 2, we have Dragonite. What's interesting about this Pokemon's alternate palette is that I'm not usually a fan of green shiny forms, but Dragonite is definitely an exception on this one. This Pokemon sports a green and purple look, which is very different to its regular form, but nonetheless, it's just a classic and it looks good, so I had to mention it. At number 1, and rounding off Kanto, well, it just had to be Charizard. Let's face it, black shinies are badasses, and shiny Charizard is one of the most well known. I mean, it should be. After all, it does look great, and yeah, it's just my favourite shiny that Kanto has to offer. Johto's up next, so let's start off with third place, it's Noctowl. Now, unlike most other shinies on this list, this Pokemon isn't entirely featured for how it looks, but mostly because of its appearance in the anime. Noctowl is the only shiny Pokemon to have been on Ash Ketchum's team, and it made a lasting impression on me from the anime. And I mean, its shiny form is also quite cool, so for me there's really not much to dislike here. Coming in a second place, we have Azumarill. The entirety of this Pokemon's evolution line has good looking shiny forms, but this time round, Azumarill takes the cake. In its shiny, this Pokemon turns from a blue to a gold colouring, and it's really appealing on the eye. What is there more to say? It's a really good looking shiny form, and it's surprising that it's not at number 1. However, saying that, for Johto's number 1 we have Heracross. For me, I like whenever a Pokemon's colouring changes entirely, and Heracross's does just that. In its shiny form, the blue colour changes to pink, and well, this Pokemon looks fabulous. As well as this, if there's a female shiny Heracross, it looks even better because on a female Heracross, its horn changes to a heart shape. So yeah, a pink-hearted Heracross, what's not to love? Coming in at third place for Hoenn, we have an iconic shiny, and it belongs to Metagross. Metagross's shiny form turns into a silver and yellow colour, and it looks pretty damn cool. This colour variant is featured heavily in the franchise previously, notably under the ownership of Steven Stone, and I mean, just look at it. This is a good looking shiny, so it had to be mentioned. Up next, we have a shiny from Gen 3, which isn't one of the more obvious ones like Metagross, and it is Camerupt. I must admit, in its regular colouring, I don't exactly love this Pokemon, but its shiny form is something that to me doesn't deserve to go ignored. This Pokemon's colour palette changes into a smoky shade and it just looks really cool. And finally, coming in at number 1 for Hoenn, we have Rayquaza. Just like Metagross, this Pokemon's shiny form is just iconic. Nearly every Pokemon shiny that turns black looks superb, and out of all of them, Rayquaza's is one of these that is at the top. After seeing it appear in the movies with its shiny, how could you not fall in love with it? It looks incredible, and for me, it's definitely Hoenn's best shiny Pokemon. Up next is my favourite region, Sinnoh. So let's start off with third place, which is Giratina. In its regular form, this is one of my favourite Pokemon that Gen 4 has to offer, but for me, it gets even better when it's in its shiny form. To obtain this colour variation, you'll need to soft reset. And personally, I don't have the patience to do that. But I've seen people catch it before, and I've just been so pleased for them because it's a great shiny. Up next for Sinnoh, we have Roserade. Now this is a shiny form that doesn't change all that much. However, saying that, sometimes it's the subtle changes that are the best. On its new form, Roserade's bouquet colours turn darker, and it makes the Pokemon look so much more badass. So why wouldn't I include it on this list? And finally, coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Luxray. And what with this shiny's colour changing to all gold and black, it's one of the best changes out of any Pokemon on the entirety of this list. See, I thought shiny Roserade turned a bit more badass, but compared to Luxray, it's really nothing. This is just a shiny I adore and one that should never change. Coming in at number 3 for Unova, we have Zoroark. On Zoroark shiny, the red colouring on its design changes to purple, and it's such a nice transition. Although it looks great in its regular form, for me this colour variation makes Zoroark look even better. I don't have any personal attachments to this shiny, but it just looks superb. Up next we have Crustle. Crustle shiny sees the Pokemon take on more green colours, and as I said earlier in the video, I don't think that most green shinies work, however this is yet another exception. The kind of green that's used on this colour variation looks somewhat radioactive, and I mean, that's pretty damn cool. The only problem I have with this shiny is how it's not very hard to obtain, due to it being one of the Pokemon you can catch in the Ultra Wormholes in Ultra Sun and Moon. But even still, it looks great, so I had to include it. So taking the top spot for Unova, it's gotta be Gigalith. This Pokemon shiny form sees the red on its body turn into a blue colour. And it's this exact shade that's used that makes it look like it has diamonds attached to it. With it being a rock type, I can appreciate this change, and the Pokemon just looks incredible. Coming in at the 3rd place for Gen 6, we have Gourgeist. Personally, I think Gourgeist isn't a Pokemon that receives the love it deserves. It's a really cool Pokemon, and I don't see too much love for it. And it definitely deserves more love just for its shiny form alone. In this shiny, the Pokemon turns more purple, and it really makes Gourgeist feel more spooky. And for a Pokemon that's based on a pumpkin, that's certainly a pro. Up next, we have Tyrantrum. Before seeing its alternate colouring, it's pretty obvious that this Pokemon is badass, and in its shiny form, it turns into a blue colour and it makes the Pokemon look even better somehow. I mean, I am biased here because blue is my favourite colour, but even still, it looks great. For the number 1 spot, it's actually shared by 2 Pokemon, and they are Greninja and Aegislash. Even though it didn't introduce loads of new Pokemon, the ones it did, Kalos gave good shinies to. And there were so many that I wanted to talk about, so I grouped these 2 together because they both see similar changes in their shinies. As I've mentioned, black shinies are all badasses, but none more so than a ninja frog and a freaking sword. They both just look incredible, so they had to be spoken about in this video. Coming in at the 3rd place spot for Alola, we have all the different Lycanroc forms. As I've said, I love the colour blue, so the changes on these Pokemon are more than welcome to me. As well as this, Rockruff was actually the first Pokemon that I chained for in Sun and Moon to find a shiny of, so I also have some personal attachment to these sparkly doggos. At number 2 for Gen 7, we have Beware. As it is, Beware is a Pokemon that I adore, but in its shiny form when it becomes more of a golden colour, it just reminds me of Winnie the Pooh, and I used to love Pooh Bear when I was younger, so now the same can be said for this shiny. Rounding it off for the Alola region, we have all of the Tapu Pokemon. I know I'm repeating myself when I say it, but I really do love black shinies, and on all of these Pokemon the change looks just incredible. I couldn't really choose one over the other because their shiny forms are just that similar, and they all look great anyway. Honestly, looking at them, they're all just awesome. But anyway guys, with all that being said, that pretty much wraps things up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. Also be sure to let me know what shinies you love down in the comment section. But for now, I've been PokéDan, you've been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time.